Greetings, Jedi Traders. David here of TradingFibs.com to bring you the daily trend for week 36, day number 5. It is Friday, September 9th, 2016. As always, please seek financial advisement when trading with your money, as these videos are for educational purposes only. To support your knowledge in the market, see what's going through my head on any given day. Always make sure you have a solid trading plan and always manage your stop when placing a trade. All right, decon data, we were pretty empty today. Multiple Fed speakers, rig count today, and put a little bit of North Korea in there testing a nuclear warhead, and you get a market like we did today as contract rollover starts to migrate into the volume into the December contract, as volume was quite low yesterday and picked up today big time. One market, two setups, 210 ticks on the NQ. Could have been a much better day had the button hit the trigger, but I think North Korea did enough of that, so left it only for the NQ today. Trend all the way down on the ES, YM, and NQ, and other markets. We'll take a look at the charts. So there it is, econ data today. Make sure you check out Ken Polcari's newsletter there for highlights on macro data. Finishing out the week, 11 setups, 573 ticks net on the NQ, the majority of those. ES really a 0 week, and 84 on the YM there on Tuesday. All right, let's take a look at the charts where we were today. That was the overnight session. News overseas, perhaps of the nuclear test or post the European monetary policy coming out yesterday by Draghi. Markets decided to roll it off. 5 charts in the red, solid signal, downside, Heikin-Ashi bars to keep you in trend. Whichever index you were trading on, whatever multiple trend studies, here's the ES following Renko bars, HA bars, 5144. You have multiple moving averages, the Guppy study. You have Kiwi trailing stop, super trend, combine them together. You got Woody, CCI. Either way, amazing trend overnight, only hoping that that's where we were going to continue in the AM session. And there it is, a little remnant of that pre-market session downside, taking a little bit of chop here, and then finally it was all the way to the downside as trend number 4 actually there at the very end, selling off here on the ES. Nice move. And again, there are those trending studies as we saw overnight. Whichever one, you pick one, pick them all, you got a bunch of flavors to choose from. Hey, taking a look at the NQ overall with 2 major setups. Again, pullbacks here, 1-1 through 1-3. A lot of chop action here between the T350 and the 1 minute 144. And then finally a breakdown. By this point, I pretty much had it for the day, working on other stuff, and but had a nice move there at the end on the NQ. And YM, same pick. A lot of multiple entries here to the downside on the YM, all underneath the T350. And then finally breakout number 2 here to the downside at the end. Leaving the 51.44, really telling the overall big picture of the day. 50 underneath 1 to 44. Price action all underneath. These are 3-minute charts. Usually we have these at 1 minute, but in a nice long trend, we go from 2 minutes, hold it at 3 minutes, and there you go. There's your big trend for the day. Here we can see price action again on one of the setups here on the NQ's price action underneath the T350, 25-minute open range and Globex low. Price action pulled back. Once we saw the pullback here, hey, you don't know that price action is going to keep coming down, so you go ahead and you manage the trade on all 5 charts in the red, and offers another opportunity to the downside. Again, missed one of those initial entries that was up above that, let it run a little bit, pull back, and then re-entry, keeping the stop in play, and all the way down finally exiting. Again, we had a lot of chop action. We'll go ahead and look at that on the charts. There was our AD line for the day. Price action again following suit of the AD line. Advancers, decliners, really never looking back to the 750, finally plateauing out here in the afternoon. And hitting all those 3 fib targets. Again, didn't have much to go. There we did. We did stall there a little bit in the early morning session on the NQ, but pretty much ran through and breezed all the way. That's right, to close out some of those daily gaps. Look at that, all 3 across. Daily gaps, I told you yesterday in that video, eventually we'd come down and close out some of them with a 100% guarantee. I can't tell you when that's going to happen. I can tell you at least today, day 1, we were headed for at least 17,895 on the YM. Didn't make it there, but in return, we left ourselves an open gap to the upside. So here's the good news with 100% guarantee. The indices will return upside again eventually. I don't know if it's tomorrow. Well, market's closed tomorrow, but next week or the week after or the month after. Crude not doing much here today, coming back downside. We got a gap upside here at 48.56. And looking at the VPOC, again, crude settling around, as we talked about yesterday, that 45.90 600-day VPOC. The rest of the three indices with VPOCs down below, as the YM here cruising close to 17.05, its next 600-day VPOC. Okay, let's take a look at the daily trend. Starting out there on the crude price action, again, not as exciting as the other indices. Looking for a 5-chart entry as we hear towards the latter part of the session. You got a couple of entries back. We're pretty much range bound here in the Globex in the 25-minute open range, finally giving go here. Sell signal downside to value area, and that was it pretty much for the crude. Take a look at the gold price action on the gold. Wavering here. This bar took a while, maybe an hour or so, to form indecision and finally rolled on through gold. But again, early morning session with a nice move, sell signal downside underneath the T350 and outside the range and back upside. Take a look at the bonds here. Bonds on a nice move, sell signal downside here to the Globex low. Again, pretty much chopped out the rest of the session, bouncing off the T350. So momentum downside continuing on the bonds, as we were looking at yesterday. Take a look at the three indices that we can see the big picture here. Once breakout of the Globex high 25-minute open range, it was all downside, offering us numerous opportunities. A nice end of the day move, saying no way, I'm not staying in that over the weekend. Same picture on the NQ here. Let's take a look at this price action here as what we have on the multiple time frames. Nice strategy by taking the moving averages from some of the higher time frames, including the 4-hour and the daily. Those would be up above, but here you have the T350, you have the 5144. You overlay those on the 10-tick range chart here on the left. Let's open that up, and there you go. You have this chop action that we just saw in between the T350 and the 144, and then price action, sell signal downside. I wait, I hesitate, it pulls back, and then there's your setup underneath the T350. If you chose it, you had a nice run down here towards price action towards the close on H8 bars, all keeping you in trend. All right, wrapping it up here on the ES. Again, same picture, sell signal downside inside the range, Globex high, Globex low, and price action eventually moves itself down with a nice setup here towards the end. Again, numerous opportunities. Again, not as smooth, a little bit more rough than the NQ there, with a couple bars pulled back, but nothing really substantial to take you out. A couple of counter trenders thinking maybe that's the end, and then what did it keep doing? And that's what we talk about every day, is keep your bias on the markets. Don't think just because it's hit a low somewhere that that's the low. You never know where the low is. All you can do is manage those candles. Much easier mindset. Take a look at the daily trend on the MidCap 400. S&P downside. Nice sell-off here towards the end as well. Same picture as there on the east, so momentum downside. Looking at the 6E Euro, again, majority of the move there at the open as price action pretty much chopped out the rest of the session. So for the most part, ending up almost flat. But here we go, price action here underneath the Globex low. There was your move of the day with 5 charts in the red. Red, the color of the day. Take a look at the yen as we have over each day. Price action again overnight session to the downside. You had a little bit of lift there in the evening session yesterday, Thursday, but price action European session coming down. Nice move, pull back, entry, T350. There was the original entry. Stop up at the swing size, and you got yourself a momentum move all the way down to the Globex low. Price action eventually returns and bounces back upside. Nice move here, buy signal with 2 charts in the green. Price action most likely here above the 5144 and gives yourself a nice end of the day. Well, actually not end of the day. That was the early morning session. It was for the most part chopping it out the rest of the day. All right, taking a look at the ZS. ZS here, beans, not much to talk about. A very choppy session. And then the last two, NG, Natty Gas here with its numbers out yesterday. Sell signal downside was the best setups of the day underneath the T350 and the 50 EMA with 4 charts in the red, chopping out, settling at the Globex low, and then platinum across the board all the way down. Sell signal, one numerous opportunity after another, but pullbacks a little bit rough would have had to look for the re-entry on 5 charts in the red. But again, 1, 2, 3 nice moves there in this AM session leading into the PM session. All right, as we head into the weekend, daily big pick. Let's take a look all across the board. NQ again, we were on that pullback up to the T350 in the 144 gap. At that point, I was hoping, marked my chart here with 46.81.75. Thought we'd come down and grab that August 2nd low. Sure enough, once price action moved back down, that's right, let's show you that. It was this here over here as we continue to come down. I said, yep, let's go for that former low there on August 2nd, and sure enough, it bounced back up. Once we got that tear down right here underneath the T350, that's when we went and ran and got that 8.2 low at 46.81.75 plus some. So across the board, T3 moving averages downside. We got a trend change on the ES and the YM with very healthy volume across the board today. We're in the 50-200 gap, so let's watch those 200 period moving averages, including watching for the open gaps. But again, price action can lift there on Monday. Watch for the upside pullback eventually and resistance up here. So right now, I got to go with momentum on the ES and the YM to the downside, at least to the 200, if not to some open gaps downside. But intraday, you got to be ready in both directions. Better to have a pullback and then a reconfirmation that we are headed in a downtrend. Let's take a look at the daily big pick across the board on CL. Crude again, as we mentioned, we were talking yesterday about maybe a perhaps pullback. Now you have it, 51.44. Let's see if we hold here going into next week. Good volume across the crude here. Take a look at the gold. Gold again pulling back here. Again, you got to still go with the momentum upside, 50 above 144 on the GC on a 4-hour chart, holding right below the T350 and below the 50 on a daily. So kind of a decision time here on gold as we lead into next week. Here on the bonds, as we've been mentioning all week, I had to go with the downside momentum as we did have the small pullback, nothing significant, and there we went bonds to the downside as we hold between the 50 and 200. So watch for that 200, and if any pullback, watch for the 50 EMA as well as the 144 on the bonds, but I got to still go with the downside momentum. Take a look at the EMD finally giving back a little bit as we roll into these December contracts. Price action pulling through. Might see that 50 cross of 144 there on Monday, but there we are. We got to go with the downtrend as we're just about to cross over, confirming next week. Take a look at the 6E Euro. Again, decision time, very tough. Didn't have much movement on the U.S. session today. We're in the gap now. I got to go with the momentum upside, as all we've done is find support here at the 144 EMA. So I'm going to continue upside on the 6E, but very consolidated right now. And wrapping up on the yen here as we have yen price action coming back down. Momentum is still downside, 50 below 144. So I got to go with the momentum on the downside, but with a little caution as we did hold here at the T350 today and got that little bounce on the yen as we saw on the daily chart and still hugging that 50 period moving average. All right, as we head into tomorrow, or next week, excuse me, head into next week. Let's get those charts up. Econ day, looking into September as we roll out the contract for the week. Next Friday, quad witching should be a snoozer. No, could be a doozer. Got to watch for all those options expiration and contracts all coming on one day. So could be an exciting week as we head into the next week. Bank of Japan and the Federal Reserve as we're watching, deciding if they're going to raise the rate hike up for September or not and hold off. So that's the news that we're all waiting for. Federal Reserve speakers up on Monday. Got to watch for those. Those can the words. That's what the market's looking for. Words. Data sometimes just doesn't matter anymore. So jobless claims, a couple red star events to get us through the week. Make sure you check out my weekly recap where I go ahead and post the videos and the stats for the week, or else you can check out each daily stats, pictures, video, and any inside notes that I write on those charts. And that's it for week 36. And that concludes today's daily trend for the week. Hey guys, feel free to stop by at tradingfibs.com or any of my social media outlets to obtain more information. My trading mantra: one simple strategy, any chart, any time. time frame, any market, any chart, any time frame will keep you disciplined. Hey guys, you can find me every day on Twitter at Trading Fibs, and as always, I leave the crystal ball to the experts. I only trade what's in front of me and on my charts. And as always, leave your bias at the door when trading, as you saw today in the charts. Only trying to get a piece of the pie. Hey guys, if you're interested in coming into the trading room to check us out, Thursdays and Fridays, if you want a 2-day invitation. Sometimes we just don't get market action on one of those days, so you'll hopefully catch it the next day, as yesterday really didn't move much, but today was a nice trend session. So feel free to email me, david@tradingfibs.com. I'll go ahead and send you an invite on Wednesday night. See if you like it, see if you learn anything. And to end today's session over the weekend, we don't forget 9/11. Can't believe it's been 15 years since that happened. But many of us remembering what happened, where it was, what you were doing. So thoughts, memories, prayers to all those that were somehow impacted. Many of us impacted in some way. But 9/11 this Sunday, don't forget. All right, have yourselves a Blue Zone day and weekend. Good day, good night, and good trading to ya.